Hey bro, I recently watched this video by another YouTuber, which was titled Bodybuilding Saved My Life, which is actually quite an interesting video. He talked about when he was a teenager, he was getting beat by his dad, his family environment was very traumatic, and he genuinely felt that no one in the world supported him, that everyone hated him, even his own parents. But then, he discovered bodybuilding and weightlifting, and that became the only thing he looked forward to in life. His reason to actually keep living in the real world. And that eventually led to him actually becoming a millionaire and having a really successful YouTube channel. And I just find it very interesting when I look back on my own memories, not just my own experiences, but the experiences of other people I've spoken to, people I've read about in books. I've heard many other stories about people hitting rock bottom, where they're just in this down bad situation. They'll get thoughts of suicide, where they feel hopeless and they don't know how to get out of this situation. They don't know if they'll get out of this situation. And like that YouTuber, the one thing that kept them going was just one thing, one interest, this one meaningful activity or even a friend that they had. For that YouTuber, it was bodybuilding. For some, it was teaching. For others, it was like sales, literally selling things. This one thing becomes the only thing they have in their life, the only reason to keep living. It acts sort of like a life anchor that they hold close and dear to them. And I like the word anchor because number one, it's this one thing that's constant throughout their life. People come and go, friends come and go, emotions come and go, good times come and go, bad times come and go. But this one thing always stays with them. It's like a rock that stands unchanging in the stormy waves. And number two, when the bad times do come, when everything gets taken away from someone, which happens a lot in life, this anchor is still there. It still stands and grounds them onto life, which just keeps them sane because they have something that they can live for. I'm telling you this because firstly, it's just a really interesting observation I have had recently, and I just wanted to share it. But more importantly, I'm making this video because when I look at the people around me, I get a dreadful realization. Many of them don't seem to have this one thing that they live for, this anchor. So when everything inevitably gets taken from them, which is something that life will do to you, there's a good chance they'll literally have nothing left. And sometimes I worry. I worry for them, for these people. But I don't know how to help them. I'm not just gonna go out to them and go, oh, you need to have something to live for or else you'll kill yourself one day. That's fucking weird, right? So I'm making this video because hopefully this will reach someone who will listen, who either really needed to hear this now or who will really need to hear this in the future. So I might possibly be able to save them. You can interpret that however you want. If you're interested, keep watching. So here's how you find your life anchor. Step 1. Find things you actually love doing. I recently read this book titled Who Moved My Cheese? And one thing I learned from this book, one very important thing is they will keep moving the cheese. Everything you have, especially the kind of material success like the straight A's, the money, the job, the fame or recognition, the trophies, the medals, or the hot superficial girlfriend. All those things can and will be taken from you at any time with little to no warning. You are actually not entitled to any of these material success, no matter how hard you have worked for them. The only thing you are entitled to is your ability to work, to progress towards those things. you are always entitled to the process. You aren't entitled to the cheese, but you always have the right to look for the cheese. What I'm trying to say is, and what the book is trying to say is, you need to love the process. You need to find some sort of activity or area to progress in where you actually just love doing the activity itself instead of only loving the end point that the activity will eventually bring you to. How do you think self-made millionaires get to where they are? Because they love working on their business. They will work for like 70, 80 hours a week because of how much they just love the process. And when they make $1 million, yeah, they celebrate. But then they just continue working those 70, 80-hour weeks even if they can basically retire forever. Because their main reward is not the $1 million, it's not the retirement. Their main reward is literally just being able to work on their business. For a lot of them, the money is actually a byproduct, a side benefit of the real benefit that is being able to do the work that they love. So your anchor has to be one of those things where you may or may not care about the results that it will get you, but you just love doing it. And so there's a good chance you don't have a proper life anchor, right? Think about everything you're working for in life right now. For example, academics. You don't like studying, you just want the grades, right? Okay, maybe some people do enjoy the process of studying, but chances are you aren't one of them. Maybe you took up an instrument, but you don't really like playing it, you just want to impress your parents, right? Maybe you have some sort of leadership position in your school, but you aren't actually passionate about improving students' lives. You just want it to look good on your portfolio, right? Maybe you are an athlete, but you're really just doing it for the medal or the trophies and the recognition and popularity, right? And there's actually nothing wrong with this for chasing material success. I don't want to shit on material success. Having money, having recognition, being validated is really good for you. But if you do something only for the material success, that isn't something that will keep you going through the dark times, because the universe can just snap its fingers and immediately evaporate all of your material progress, and then you'll lose all your motivation to do that thing because you don't really enjoy it in the first place. So your actionable step right now is to think if you currently have an activity that you actually love doing, that you actually look forward to doing in your life. If you do, then nice. If not, I want you to write down on physical paper or an online document as many things that you want to do but have never really gone around to doing. And every 2 months from now, just try out one of those things for just 1 day a week during the 2-month period. And you can see if you love doing that thing, then you can start doing it more frequently. Or if you don't, you can just move on to the next thing. This process of trying new stuff, living life, doing the things life has to offer you could be kind of an anchor by itself, until you find the one thing that you truly love doing. Oh, and by the way, if you love to do something, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be good at it at first. I know this is quite similar advice to 2 of my other videos, Don't Go With The Flow and Why You Always Feel Tired. So yeah, the activities or tasks you came up with by watching those videos, if you did watch them, can be the same one for this video. It's basically the same concept I'm trying to teach. Step 2, make sure it's something you can do frictionlessly. Let's do an interesting visualization. You're going about your normal routine. Every day, you're doing fine, or at least as fine as usual. You go to school, you come back, you do your work, but suddenly, one day, for seemingly no reason at all, you start getting tortured by your own mind. You start uncontrollably ruminating, overthinking. It gets so bad that When you go to school, you can't focus in class. You can't really have conversation with other people. You don't have the mental energy to do your work because all of it is drained from your constant thoughts, and you feel a little disconnected from reality. And even when something interesting happens in school that would normally make you like smile a bit, for example, during assembly, someone's singing on the stage and everyone else is happy and singing along with them, but you're just there, expressionless, just occupied by your looping thoughts. And let me tell you, this happens to people with seemingly no warning and seemingly no reason at all. Don't you think this won't happen to you? It actually happened to me like for 2 to 3 days, a little more than a month ago. I haven't even told any of my friends or family about it. And I was lucky. I was lucky because I went onto the internet and saw people who have experienced it for 4 years straight. So if this happens to you or something like that happens to you, you won't have the mental energy to work on your academics. Anything that you don't have genuine love for, you just can't really do it as well. The one thing that you love doing, will it be accessible during this period of pain? Are you able to do it basically every day even when you're tired? Because you need that in an anchor. For me, it's making YouTube videos, which by the way, was the thing that got me out of the 2-3 day depression. And it's very simple. I have my laptop in my bedroom. As you can see here, every day I can just wake up and start scripting videos very effortlessly. But for you, maybe you find that you have to be at a certain place to do this thing that you love. And that's fine actually if it's somewhere that's near your house or somewhere you can go to on a daily basis. But if it's like an hour drive away and you don't really have a habit of going there regularly, you might want to consider this actionable step. Make this thing that you love, your anchor, more accessible. For example, depending on what it is, if it's music, you can get an instrument and practice at home. If it's weightlifting, maybe consider going to a closer gym. Maybe buy weights to use in your home or a pull-up bar. A pull-up bar is quite nice, by the way. I'm just coming up with random examples here. There are probably like hundreds or thousands of different things that people love doing that could be their anchor. Just come up with a way to make yours more accessible to you if it's not already. Kind of like as an insurance for when some bullshit happens in your life and you hit rock bottom. If you found this video helpful, please give me any criticism or feedback in the comments, and I wish you a good day.